You are listening to I Am Refocused Podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
Hey, what's up? This is I Am Refocused Podcast. We are here once again. It is Thursday right here at Rockafellas Barbershop. Shout out to the owner, Rico Rodriguez. He is the owner of Rockafellas, man. If you need a haircut, San Antonio, make sure you stop by. Once again, that's Rockafellas Barbershop here in San Antonio. Man, we have a fire show for this morning, San Antonio. I hope you're awake. Hope you tune in. Get your notebook, pad, and some pen. And let's take some notes, because today we're talking about a power couple over on the Eastside of San Antonio, Walter Perry and his lovely wife, Alicia Perry. How y'all doing this morning?
Oh, fantastic, brother. Blessed.
Wonderful.
And the reason why they are here, the power couple are here, is because Walter Perry is going for the C for District 2, and his wife is going for the SAISD Board Member District 2. So before we get into all that amazing stuff, I want you guys to take the floor, introduce yourself to the audience, and give us a little backdrop story.
Ladies first.
Well, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have us once again. I feel like we're full circle here, back with I Am Focused and the family. My name's Alicia Perry, as you've already said, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. Been here in San Antonio for 13 amazing years, and find myself now at a point in life where I'm just completely walking in my calling, and I'm very happy to be here, happy to share, happy to be alongside my king doing this type of work. So thank you so much.
What's up, man? You, Walter?
My name is Walter Perry. I'm a San Antonio Eastside native. I grew up in SAISD, going to Boys and Girls Club, just having fun, just a knucklehead kid, got into a little trouble, had some setbacks, and now I'm working my way up to be an inspiration to my community and the people that believe in me. I'm happy to be here with my wife. It's a tremendous honor and privilege to be able to do this type of work with my wife and see her be great, and then also be in the position to be great myself. And so you don't always get these types of opportunities, and when you do, you want to make the most of it. You know, you want to instill the values that were put into you as a child. And so this is our moment right now, and I want to be the best husband, the best partner, and the best councilman I can be.
That's what's up, man. And speaking of just being the best, you know what I'm saying? Once again, I'm going to just put in the power couple, Eastside San Antonio. So back to Alicia. What inspired you to want to get involved in the community?
Oh, wow. There's a number of things that inspired me, and it goes back to my childhood back in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was raised by a single grandmother who worked very hard as a business owner. That's why I like being here. Is really feels like home. She was a business owner of a small hair salon for many, many years, and that salon did so much for so many people in our community. It was a place where women were able to be themselves and connect with one another. They were able to share their life experiences and draw strength from one another. They were able to talk about how they were raising their kids together, and you know, that was a time when we worked as a village together. So that's what I was raised with. She used to drag me to the salon, and I used to have to help sweep up the floor and fold the towels, and I watched her do this on the bus. She would go on the bus when she didn't have a car. She had myself and a few other of my cousins that she raised as her own, and it was just her example that was that excellence. There was that strong black woman that took no for an answer when it came to propelling her next generation to be better than she was. She had a 6th grade education, and that did not stop her. She was not only the businesswoman in the community that everybody went to, she was also the woman in the apartment complex. I was raised on public housing, and everybody went to Miss Ruth's house when something happened and nobody had nothing to eat, or you know, the baby was acting up and the husband left, or whatever it was, or just to celebrate successes. Let Miss Ruth know, hey girl, this happened for me, you know. So I come from that. And when I moved here 13 years ago, I came as a single mother of 3 small children. A friend of mine lived here and told me it was a lot of opportunity. As much as I love my city, it was time for something a little bit different. And I came here seeking better opportunities for me and my family. Along the way, I opened up my own salon. So I kind of continue that same generational thing that my grandmother established. And I realized as a young woman, I was starting to get that same support, that same energy from the women in my community. And what I realized is wherever I am, my parents lived in New York, and I did hair there as well for a few years. But what I realized was wherever I was, we still had the same common connection as far as women, the things that we desire for our families, for our children. And having that outlet was awesome, an awesome platform for us to come together and create solutions for ourselves. So that's where it started. When Walter and I got together, it just took it to a whole nother level, because y'all know this is Mr. Community right here. So he actually, you know, activated something within me on another scale, where I was used to being that person, that community for a small group of people. Even with my children in their schools and PTA, I would do it on a smaller scale. When he and I got together, he introduced me to the nonprofit world, and I realized that I was able to have that same impact and work with other people who had that same impact, and it was just, we had a further reach on people. So it was so much more inspiring when, you know, it's one thing to have these conversations with people you know because you're comfortable and it's easier to say, girl, get your stuff together, or girl, whatever. But when you start being that person for people you don't know, and people who you don't know can be that person for you, it inspires you on a whole different level. So that's where it all started. It was always in me. And this is one of the things that we talk about on our platforms. This stuff is already in us. It's just surrounding yourself with the right people that's going to help bring that stuff out of you and make you better, challenge you to be better. And that's where it comes from. He challenged me, as y'all know, but in a good way, to be the best woman, to say, yes, you're right. Those things that you're feeling and doing, they're right. But let's take it to another level and let's do it together. And that's where we are.
And speaking of another level, I already know, Walter, you've been inspired too. This was a calling that you probably received a while back, and now you're answering and taking it to the, I would say, hitting the gas pedal. No brakes. You're going all the way. So, like I asked Alicia, for you, what inspired you to want to get involved in your community?
Like Alicia, I had grandparents who were already involved. I had a grandmother, her nickname was Cop in the neighborhood because she was part of the neighborhood watch. She was Citizens on Patrol. They would march. And as a matter of fact, during the 80s, there was a place called Sonny Mitchell's. Anybody that's from San Antonio that's familiar with that spot, it was a spot, it was like a shopping center kind of like this, but every business in there, it was a legal business. It was gambling, it was prostitution, it was drugs going on, it was a lot of killings and shooting them there. So my grandmother, along with a lot of other people in the neighborhood, homeowners, just people who just was tired of the stuff, they marched on Sonny Mitchell. They kept marching on, and finally they got him closed down. And now if you drive down Martin Luther King, it's the Dory Miller Center that sits there now. But it used to be the Sonny Mitchell Center that was there. It was pool hall and all that. But so many of our mothers from that past were, I have to say it bluntly, they were prostitutes. You know, a lot of us were born from that type of era. And so also my grandmother being part of the civil rights era, you know, they were always teaching us about our history. And for us, you know, our thing was more of, you know, keeping our name going. You know, keeping it going. You know, we want our family name to be around for years and years and years. Right. So when you think like that, you know, you start looking at life a whole lot differently. And for me, at a young age, I already knew that I didn't want to be average. But at the same time, I didn't have the right type of guidance nor the right focus at that time to really fulfill my potential, and I ended up getting into some trouble. But at the same time, that DNA was still in me. Exactly. It just had to be it had to be ignited some type of way. And so, you know, just living life and just seeing how people were being treated and seeing how I was being treated, I didn't like it. Yeah. And right now, what got me, which is really full circle, is that 10 years ago, I was homeless on the street, didn't have anywhere to go. Just one day, I was driving trucks, and then I walked into my job, and they told us, you know, that's it. You know, they had the housing thing. It was the crash. So by me having a felony, we were the first ones to go. Yeah. And so it was really difficult to get a job. And I was finna give up and say, man, I'm finna go back to selling dope, until I ran into somebody who had a master's degree who was busting tables. He said, man, it's hitting everybody. And I said, man, it ain't just me, it's everybody. Exactly. So I started having a different type of mentality about it. I said, man, this is an American problem. This ain't just my neighborhood or black problem. This is an American problem. Yeah. So I started talking to different people and getting different perspectives. And I said, you know what? Everybody pretty much want the same things. They want to be treated with respect. People want to feel safe. People want to be able to, you know, travel if they want to go. People want to, you know, help their kids. I said, man, this is a human issue. So I started researching, but then at the same time, I'm around my people and I'm around poor people, and you're trying to talk about excellence, but these people are worried about eating. These people are worried about paying bills. And for me, being homeless, it was actually like, I felt free because I didn't have any responsibilities, but I knew I wasn't going to be in that situation forever. So I started in 2009 working with, you know, politicians, passing out flyers in the summer. You know, I was beating the street, long hours. But while I was doing it, I was learning about people. I was learning how to talk to people. I was learning about community. And eventually, I started going into that process, getting exposed, going to different community meetings, and just getting that knowledge. And then I said, well, that's only going to take me so far. I have to really get in there. So when I started getting in there, I started seeing results. But people needed more. They needed a champion. They needed somebody who can go in there and not only say what needs to be said, but know how to say no. It's called delayed gratification. You understand what I'm saying? I got that. Delayed gratification. That's the problem with a lot of people. They don't know how to delay that gratification. Say, hold on, look, you know, I don't need all that. I just want to do what's right. You know, I'm going to get my reward later on. That's right. You know, you build up for your reward. They don't know how to do that. So I learned about delayed gratification, and that came from everything from money to sex, everything. So I was able to control my desires when I was in a state where it was survival to finish. When you're homeless, some people usually just give up. Me, I let go of all habits. I was smoking, I stopped. I, like everything. I didn't do nothing. I cleared my mind because I knew I was on the street and I knew anything could happen. So the one thing I didn't want to be was high or drunk and somebody kill me. Or, you know, I end up going to jail. So when I took those steps, I started really getting involved in the community. And fast forward to right now, we're running for city council because God has opened up an opportunity. He saw my work. He saw the work of others who was like me and the people that were in place. Think about it. In the last 5 years, we've had 5 city councilmen in District 2. And guess what? All 5 of them are not from San Antonio now. One of them was, but he stayed gone 20 years. So it's like you're not from here. They're not from here. So they don't know. So when things get tough, they take the money or they take a position and they'll run. And that's why we're running. We're running because we're tired of that. We need somebody that's going to be there for the long haul. Somebody who can speak the language. When I see a homeless person, instead of me sending them to jail, I can empathize with him and say, hey man, I know where you came from. I know exactly what I can do to help you. You understand what I'm saying? I've been there. Yeah. When I see a gang member, when I see a drug dealer that's looking to transition his life away from there, I know exactly what to tell him. But then at the same time, I know how to talk to a CEO because I've been in those positions to where we've worked in the community, or I've helped them, or I've had the training to be able to sit in a room and feel confident enough to talk to people. You know, business is just about relationships.
Exactly.
It's all about relationships, and if you make the right relationships out here, your business can go so far in life.
I mean, look at the power couple, man.
But you know what, though?
When you look at the story from her and how y'all met and how y'all just, I would say, fireworks right now.
We met on Facebook.
Oh. Yeah, we haven't even told a story about how we met.
Let me just go ahead and just address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes left on this segment, so go ahead and tell us that story.
Okay. Somebody has stood me up on a date, right? And I went on Facebook to go to their inbox to tell them something. Well, when I got on, I was scrolling down Facebook. I saw a picture of my wife.
Wow.
I was like, oh, hold up. I clicked on her profile and I was like, I said, oh man, she's beautiful. And so I went to her inbox and I said, I like your hair.
And of course I was a hairdresser, so I was like, ooh, he paid attention to my hair.
Right. And so she said thank you. And then, you know, we was talking, and then I said something dumb,
crazy,
dumb big head guy. Every time we get a lady interested, first thing we'll think about is dropping their bed. So I said something to alone. Hey, are you blah 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 to somebody else? She was like goodbye. I was like, oh God, Walter. I did that. I was like, oh my God. So I said, oh no, I'm sorry about that. You know, I'm just real straight up about stuff. You know, I just asked, and then thank God she said, okay, well don't do that again. You know what I'm saying? I said, really, I was trying to ask you to lunch. But
I guess it came out wrong.
Yeah. I guess lunch and the other thing sound kind of like kind of like. So no, I'm trying to take you to lunch. So she said okay, and I don't know if y'all know Fish Market on Walsham. Fish Market on Walsham.
The Fish Market.
At the time, I was a single dad. I was caring for my daughters, my two daughters at the time. So, you know, I was getting food stamps. So I swiped my Lone Star card up at Fish Market because I didn't have any money. So thank God, you know, Fish Market took the EBT card. So I was able to get a meal, and you know, that was very creative in my book. Yeah. And when she walked in, the food was already ready, and you know, we sat down, and it was like love at first sight. Like as soon as I saw her get out the car, God told me, don't say I ain't never gave you nothing. Don't say I'll never give you anything in life. I'm finna, everything you ever asked for, I'm finna go ahead and bless you. I'm finna bless your game, Walter. Don't mess this one up. And
I'm gonna add my piece to it when you get done.
Right. And so yeah, go ahead, because you know.
Yeah, so let's hear Alicia's side.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. Everything he's saying is the absolute truth. We did meet on Facebook. He did say something crazy. I did say I'm finna block you or something, you know. And but it was still something real interesting about somebody I never seen in my life. Well, we had the same mutual friend, so I was kind of comforted that he wasn't just somebody from nobody. I actually had people I can contact and say, hey, you know this guy? And I did afterwards. I was like, okay, who is Walter Perry? And everybody was like, oh, you don't know? No, but I think I'm about to find out, right? So I was aware that Fish Factory took EBT because me too. I was a single mother with kids, and I had gone there with my Lone Star card to get some dinners too. So when we got there and the food was on the table, I said, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't bought my lunch with the food stamp card. But I thought that was so, like, cute. You know, I don't know what it was. I was just like, he is very interested.
Oh, my God.
At this time, he had a gold tooth. If anybody know him, before the braces, he had this one gold tooth, right? And he got out of this car, and he had his little cargo pants on, and he just was, and the first thing he said to me was, you're late.
Oh.
I was 4 minutes late.
You still late?
And that's what he said. And that's what I said. I said, I was 4 minutes late. So I said, you know what? This is about to be really, really interesting. He's right. It was love at first sight, but it was something so different for me. I was like, oh my God, Alicia, you going crazy. Now, mind you, I'm a single woman with 3 children. I had been divorced for a few years. I was not actively looking to date, but he was just a breath of fresh air. He was so honest. He was brutally honest from the beginning, and it was something rare to find in a man. And so I was just like, okay, I think we're going to have a good friendship for a very long time. And lo and behold, we were married 4 months later.
Wow.
4 months later.
Y'all busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Y'all have work to do, man.
Yeah.
You know, once they meet me, man, they don't want to let me go.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Once you start to go too,
it reminded me of that. What is that? That Trident or that Orbits when they say have a clean mouth, clean. And so when he would smile, I would just see that little sparkle in that gold tooth. I was like, oh my goodness, I think I'm on to something right.
Thank God you brushed your teeth.
Yeah, they were clean.
Because it could have been a different story.
Yeah.
Yes.
But speaking of different story, man, next half of the show we're going to talk about the things that you really want to do on the east side of San Antonio, bring the community together, and some of your plans that you have for the future of east side of San Antonio. So don't you touch that iPhone, that smart device. We will be right back. This is I Am Refocused Podcast. We're here at Rockafellas Barbershop. Shout out to Rico Rodriguez, the owner. And we are talking to the Perrys, the power couple. We'll be right back.
Be right back.
All right.
Welcome to Rockafellas Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockafellas Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Rd. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused Podcast on iHeartradio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning our business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hey, this is I Am Refocused Podcast. We are still here Thursday morning, Rockafellas Barbershop. Shout out to Rico Rodriguez, man. If you need a haircut, San Antonio, you need to come to Rockafellas Barbershop. Once again, second half of the show, we are still talking to the Perrys, a.k.a. Power Couple. And we're going to talk to Alicia real quick. She's running for the SAISD Board Member. So tell the audience a little bit about why you're running, and some of the things you would like to see happen.
Good. I love talking about things I would like to see happen. Everything starts with a story, so I'm going to tell you it's going to be brief. It's not very long. But as I mentioned earlier, the way I care for my children when I moved here was through the hair salon that I had. And it got me pretty far. I did very well as a hairstylist. Of course, it came with a set of challenges. And at the end, I realized that I had hit a ceiling because I was not educated enough to transform my passion to an actual profitable, sustainable business. And with that, all that trial and error, getting it wrong, the thought that came to me was I got to go back to school. I gotta go. That was the piece that I was missing. I was missing that education. I knew that grind. I knew that piece and how to make that work. So going back to school was pretty much that key, that seed that inspired me to be here. Going back to school, I was terrified, you know. I hadn't been to school in 20 years. Chose to go to St. Philip's, my husband's alma mater. He spoke so highly about this school on the east side, HBCU, on the east side of San Antonio. HBCU, everything that I envisioned the HBCU to be, it was. Went up in there, and these people just showered me with love and support. Was able to join some leadership organizations and get scholarships at 35 years old, 35, 37. So the things that I once thought were impossible, it actually became a reality for me. In that time, of course, Walter and I were very active in our kids' education, because one of the reasons for me and him both going back to school, we talked about it while we had children, was to set the example and do it alongside them. So we would do homework together. We would struggle together. And, we were all students together. And I realized as a mother that my children became much more successful when I got engaged and got involved. Now, prior to that, of course, I couldn't, because I had to work. I was working 60 hours a week. So I feel mothers out here and parents out here who want to be a part of their children's education, but they got to put food on the table. Back to what we said. We were both receiving government assistance, trying to figure it out. So that education piece, it just started unlocking different doors. So once I got mine and started giving back to my kids, then I started seeing changes. And then I realized that in order for them to be successful, I had to have relationships with their teachers, with the administrators, with the schools. So I started off as that complaining parent. I don't like the food, they're not going outside no more, or, with the field trips. And but once I started getting familiar with these teachers, we became like friends, and because once again, I come from the village mindset. I realized that yes, the teacher has a job, but it makes it much easier when we all work together, because the end goal and the end result of our kids' education is going to be that thing that's going to take them wherever they want to go in the world. So I need to be an active part of that. And so it was very difficult in the beginning to be at all these PTA meetings. Now, mind you, we had 7 children in the house, and they range from now in the 20s down to 6. So we had middle school, we had elementary school, and we had high school all in 1 year. And splitting that, okay, I got to go to the teacher over here, and then we got to go to an event over here. Babe, can you catch this when I catch that one? He became the president of a PTA. I became the secretary of that same PTA. We worked together. And like I said, we saw the successes in that. So as that connects to my reason for running, my whole platform is about using education as a tool to break the cycle of poverty.
I like that.
It is. It really, really is, because we know in our District 2, we have a high concentration of low-income families, and just a whole lot of neglect in that area. And education is a huge part of allowing us to be successful in creating the outcomes that we need for ourselves, which are better. Another thing is parent engagement. As I said before, I understand the difficulties of being engaged, but at those points when I couldn't make those meetings, at least I would pick up the phone. I didn't want to be that parent that only come up in there with somebody messing with my kid and fussing and going against the people who I need to work with. So, and I'm gonna tell you, I was that parent at one time. I was fussing, and I was like, well, why they not calling me no more? And that was what it was. So once I said, okay, let's do this a little bit different and talk to the teachers. Well, what you going through? And I started to they're human, they're just like us. They have the same issues. Just went to the Capitol. They're fighting for more money. $5,000, that's nothing compared to what they do for our children. So that's another thing that I'm going to do once appointed. I'm going to help our teachers and all support staff. Custodians. I remember when we were in school, the custodians, the lunch workers, they had just as much influence on our successes as our teachers did. So those people can never be looked at like they're just, second class employees. So that's the things that I stand on. And the big thing for me is I come from a parental perspective, and I'm always careful to say that I am not an expert. So what I've been doing, and we've been doing this over the past years, just for our personal stuff when we had kids in school, was establishing these relationships. But for the campaign, I've been setting up appointments and having a listening tour, listening to the principals. And, you know, our schools in SAISD, particularly District 2, is very unique because there's different programs that they can adapt in their own schools, and we're also fighting against the charter schools. So we have the largest concentration, again, of charter schools, and that's competition and taking resources away from our public schools. If our public schools struggle, our communities struggle, our children struggle, and we find ourselves still scrapping and scraping and trying to get the answers. So that's the reason why I chose to run. I choose my first thing, like I said, was to start that listening tour, but I'm so ready to get to these campuses. You know, I'm ready to get out there and meet these kids, meet these parents, meet these administrators. This is nothing that anybody can do alone. I can't do this by myself. So it would be idiotic for me to believe I can come up in here and just be like the savior of the schools. No, it's going to take a lot of hard conversations. It's going to take a lot of patience. I got to learn that budget. You know, that's a monster. You know, so I'm going to just be honest. It's going to be, that first year is going to be a lot of getting myself familiar with that whole process and what that looks like. But what I want everybody to know is, once appointed, I'm going to fight. I'm going to be that champion for our kids, for our support staff, for our teacher, for our neighborhoods and our schools. It was much better when the community had an interest in raising our children, and that's where I want us to get back to.
There's a point you said earlier in this segment where you talked about the keys opportunity. I like that because keys of opportunity will get you to the right door. And sometimes it takes, like you said, a village of people in the community to support each other. Because if we have each other's back, we're dangerous.
That's right. That's right.
If you try to go solo, it's lonely. It's hard out there. It gets real. But coming back to you, Walton, you're going for the seat of District 2. And like your lovely wife, Alicia, man, you're here to get involved and to really roll your sleeves up and get to work and really focus on the issues in the community. So for you, man, what do you see of what it is you want to do?
Well, the first thing I want to do is let the people know that they have a champion. They have someone who is running for this office who has the integrity and has the mental fortitude to guide this community to a new direction. My top 3 issues are housing, how it's affecting our community, dealing with property taxes, gentrification. Just recently I was in the neighborhood, I think it was Denver Heights, and there are homes at $450,000 in low-income neighborhoods. And for me, that just doesn't sit right with my spirit. And I've talked to a few developers, especially that developer of that $450,000 home or area, and then he has another home that's $400,000 in the high crime area, just not even 200 yards away or not even 2 blocks away. An old lady got shot at a store around the corner from this home that they're trying to sell for $400,000. That just doesn't sit right with my spirit. So the first question I asked, how did this happen? You know, who let this happen? And why is it happening over here on my side of town? You have to ask those questions because when I was talking to the developer of these properties, lo and behold, he's from the west side. And I asked, do you have properties like this on the west side? He said, no. I said, I know you don't because they're going to run you from over there. But you come over here because you know that our leadership or our lack of leadership is all about the dollar. So they're going to let you come in. They're going to let you do what you want to do, sell you the property for cheap, or probably just give it to you, and then turn around and give you all types of tax incentives. And then you're going to be able to pocket all that profit. And then they may get a kickback depending on who allows you to do that. My question is, how can somebody who sits on the zoning chair be a developer? How can you be developing homes, but you're sitting on the zoning chair? I think that's a conflict of interest. And when you are someone who is in charge of zoning, that means you have a lot of power on who develops what gets developed, how it gets developed. But it really hurts my spirit as a taxpayer, a homeowner, someone who's struggled, who was homeless, and who struggled these last 10 years to be able to call 1611 Lone Oak his own castle. I see that as highly offensive. And for me, knowing what I know now and going through what I went through, it has compelled me to want to fight against people like this, because they are taking advantage of not the system. They are trying to
keep God first, stay focused, and peace.
And so for me, we're running because we're running to preserve the history and the legacy. So housing is one of my biggest components. That's going to be, I'm the housing champion. So shoot, I'm the Muhammad Ali of going at housing. So y'all might as well get ready. Anybody that's a developer, anybody that's trying to like take advantage of the community, it's finna be on. My second thing is public safety. Our elders, our kids, our families deserve to live in safe neighborhoods. Right. They deserve to play outside without the fear of a stray bullet, somebody drunk driving down the private street really, really fast and hitting a kid. We need crosswalks by the schools. We need to bring back patrols. We need to bring back citizens on patrol. We need to have neighbors knowing each other. Public safety, y'all. If things are not safe, there's nothing we can do that's going to work. Everybody has to feel safe. So public safety is another thing. Now, I have some 3A, 3B, 3C, and all that. Community morale.
Yeah.
That is a big thing that I'm going to be working on. And what do you mean by that, Walter? What I mean is that our community has been conditioned to believe that they are not due new things. We have to go through a process. We have to wait. We have to let this person sit in this seat or this position for all these years. Then they die, and then we have to find somebody else, and it's usually somebody from out of town. So it kills the morale of the community when somebody from out of town, a hotshot, which I don't have anything against anybody from out of town. I'm for anybody that wants to prosper. Mm-hmm. But what I mean by this, somebody coming from, not from your neighborhood, come from out of town. I don't care if it's from the other side of town. If they don't know the people, they out of towners. People coming into your community, don't know the people, don't care to get to know the people, disrespecting the people. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to outprice these people and then kick them out of their own neighborhoods? That is highly disrespectful. And so when we see people, businesses, especially these local businesses that's been holding down San Antonio, they're 82% of, the market here in San Antonio, small business. When they see an out-of-town corporation come and get all these tax incentives, get all these grants, get all these breaks, and then they go down to City Hall, go down to these agencies, and these people telling them, what the hell are you coming down here begging for? Oh, you ain't spend your money right? But then these hotshot out-of-town people can come, dazzle them with lunch, get them Spurs tickets, and then all of a sudden, they got contracts. You understand what I'm saying? And so what I want to do is stop that kind of stuff. I want to get small businesses in a position to where they can get resources and funding. When I was at an agency, I was at SAISD. My sole mission was to help Eastside businesses. Well, we helped as many as we could when I was there. I was there for 2 years, and we gave out, a little over $1 million in grant money, receiving and giving out. So I was a part of economic development, that still sits today. You can go in Dignity Hill, you can go in, Harvard Place, East Lawn, you can go in Denver Heights. A lot of those business owners, they know me because I introduced them to to the storefront grant. Well, unfortunately, we need more people to introduce our small businesses to opportunities like that. Right. And so as councilman, that's going to be one of my big things, is bringing up community morale, letting people see the small businesses thrive on, more than these corporations, and give them the tax breaks and give them the incentives and give the homeowners the tax relief off their property taxes that they solely deserve. We're paying so much property tax. We're paying $1,042 for SAISD in school tax, and we pay $539 in city tax. So that's half of our taxes that we're paying already in city and school taxes. And me, as a former hustler and as a businessman, that's not a good return on my investment. So that's why I'm running. I need to see a return on my investment, and a lot of us want to see returns on our investment. So community morale, when people in the community start seeing people champion them, and start seeing them fight the status quo and start speaking up for them, then you'll start seeing people get more engaged. You'll start seeing more people start more businesses, because they know that they're going to get the opportunity. They haven't been getting the opportunity in this city, and it's high time that we do, and that's why I am running. That's why we are running. That's right.
Man, I hope y'all run with them.
Proud to the people.
Because this podcast was on fire. This podcast was on fire because the two things I hear just from you both speaking, from the first half to the second half. Number one is what Alicia said earlier about getting the keys to have the opportunities for the right doors.
Yes.
And then what you're just saying right now is not just transparency and accountability for the leaders in those platforms of influence, but also letting these mothers and fathers, or single mothers, single fathers with kids, having the right opportunities and resources to better their lives, so that way the community thrives.
Yes.
I wasn't trying to rhyme.
That's exactly what it is.
It just kind of came out of that.
This is a call to action for any and everyone who wants to see better in their community, in their schools, in their city. This is a call to action. This is put up or shut up. So many people, they push this narrative down in City Hall that this is a city of equity, this is a city for everybody. But yet there's research that shows that they have been redlining poor people and people of color in San Antonio for years and years. Not giving out home loans. Banks been denying them loans. They haven't been getting treated on housing. They go into City Hall looking for help. They get treated like stepchildren. People don't treat them. And then on top of that, when we want to celebrate different cultures, it's almost like an act of Congress. All of us has been in New York City, right? You've been in New York? Okay. New York City is one of these, oh man, it's like a dream come true. Even though the Jews and Italians, from what I was told, run that city, I saw every nationality having a space in that city.
That's right.
They had a space. You can go here, you can go here, get food from here. You can go Dominican, Puerto Rican. You can go Jamaican,
Chinese.
It was. And then we rode the train. Every neighborhood, it was different. It was all Jewish. It was all black. It was all white. It was all Spanish. Everybody had a space. And so when I walked the streets, I didn't talk much. I just listened. I listened to the street when I was on the subway. I just listened. I listened to different cultures. And I said to myself in my head, how can we bring this to San Antonio? How can we get everyone in a position to where they can have their own space, to where they can express themselves and be somebody? Because Fiesta is coming up, and I don't have anything against Fiesta. I love cracking eggs, cascarones on people's heads and all that. But there needs to be more, because our city is so diverse.
That's right.
We have so many different groups of people, and we deserve to see that flavor. The SA 300 did not do... It did a disservice to everyone, especially African Americans in San Antonio. There are black people who have shaped and who continue to shape this city.
That's right.
And we are not getting the due. And we have celebrated everyone's culture. We will continue to celebrate Fiesta. I love my Latino brothers and sisters, but there has to be room for everybody else.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's all we're saying is that we need our space. The San Antonio African American Museum that is being promoted right now to promote the history and the legacy of San Antonio African American activism and community and socialism, political and everything. Mm-hmm. We need to support that.
Yeah.
Because if we don't support that, it's going to get gentrified. They are gentrifying our history right now. Mm-hmm. And for the lack of a better word, it's pissing me off. And so people are saying, oh, Walter, your temperament. Well, if you were seeing your legacy being covered up every day, when you go and you say, hey, you know, we want to honor, you know, Reverend Callis because he went and got the land from white folks to build the Freedom Bridge, and we want to see about putting his name back on that bridge. When you say that it's political suicide, I look at you suspect. And I am under the assumption is that our history, our black history, is under attack. Mm-hmm. And so, not on my watch, you know, I'm going to do what I have to do to reestablish a voice and a space for what these great people did before me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's bigger than me.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, all right. The key thing you said with that message is the fact that all culture
That's right.
is important.
That's right.
Everybody's important.
That's right.
And we can't pick and choose sides.
That's right.
Of what is more valuable for the city. Mm-hmm. Because every person who breathes air in this city is important.
That's right.
And with that message, I know what you're talking about is getting everyone involved.
Mm-hmm. Well, they call it the equity lens. It's this...
Is that
good? I need someone who helped pass that policy to explain what the equity lens is, the purpose, what is it looking to do, what's the end game to this, and who does it apply to? Who does the equity lens apply to? Because according to research from Dr. Christine Drennan, there is a huge inequality in San Antonio. And depending on your zip code, it's going to depend on what type of resources get to your neighborhood and your school.
That's right.
And I live in 78220. Anybody know 78220, you know it's popping. It's Eastside. You understand what I'm saying? Real Eastside. And it faces challenges. So just because I live in 78220 does that mean that I'm not part of the equity lens? Does that not apply to me, or does that apply to just to certain areas of town? So the people who passed this policy, and I think they passed it up under former Councilman Cruz Shaw, and I want to say he did a good job when he was in office. So shouts out to Cruz because he supported our 5K. I would like to hear from him or somebody from his staff, and you know, have them articulate that to in a layman's terms, or break it down for people who are not you know, savvy, you know, in a political talk and stuff like that, and give these people a clear vision of what the equity lens is, what it's going to do for them, and how it looks in the future. Because we've gotten a lot of policies, a lot of fluff, but we haven't got a lot of follow through. Just like the NDO, the non-discrimination ordinance, they passed that years ago, but they're still trying to define the language. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to my wife because I was going to get into the school, but being that she's running for District 2, I ain't trying to steal her shine.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, the truth of this entire matter is, you know, we getting labeled as the power couple, and people are, you know, inspired by what we chose to do together. But the reason why we chose to do it together is because it's essential. Everything connects. These ordinances, these laws, they're affecting the community, just as there are the school. There's bond money, and so we'll go back to what I talked about before. I don't want to talk over people, and there's a lot of stuff that I still have to figure out too. But it's a lot of things behind closed doors that's been happening to us. And so now it's time for us to get there and make sure some things happen for us. There's some things that were allocated that are due to us, but somebody, just like we said, ain't using that key and opening that door. Yeah. So it's going to take persistence. It's going to take being loud. It's going to take going against the grain. It's going to take, using those things that got us to this point, because y'all know it ain't easy. Anybody, just like you just said, it is about everybody, because everybody has a story. And anybody who wants something and fought for something, the level of challenge that it took for you to continue to push through when nobody else believed and nobody was supported. So thank you to everybody who supported this movement. I would be remiss if I didn't say that, because there's so many people that's been a part of this journey, from the pastors, Jala, to our friends, nonprofit partners, Michelle Daniels at the parent room at Sam Houston, Cherokee, just everybody. This movement is about everybody. And so when it comes to the funding and the inequality, that's all over the district, and it's very apparent in our schools. That's why we have the charters. Talk to somebody and they said they're not there to compete. Again, if you got 6 in a district in the size of ours, and our district, as far as District 2, is bigger than the SAISD district. But in that little circle, just that little area, we have 6 charter schools. What is it if it's not a competition? So somebody has to speak to that and say, hey, now listen, I'm a parent. We're both parents, so we understand the importance of school choice. So we want what's best for our kids. So I'm not going to sit here and say, it's awful, because that's not the truth. There's some programs that work well. But when we're fighting each other for the same pot, and that pot has been allocated to help our schools, help our community, all of it connects. In order for our parents to feel like their kids are safe in the schools, then we have to have a comprehensive plan and a partnership with the city. So as Mr. Perry takes his seat, he's going to be able to take care of those neighborhood community things. Well, I'm going to go up in there and champion and get those things unlocked for our students and the people who work to make our community better.
Yes.
I mean, that's it.
But real quickly, I want to add something, because another thing that's been lost in the district is that people don't realize how big District 2 is. It's huge. It's huge. District 2 is big. You have over by Randolph Boulevard. You have Camelot. You have Park Village. You got East Terrell Hills. You even got Broadway. So it's a huge area on top of the east side and on top of, other little small parts. Then you got way off of Foster Road, then you got a little strip that goes way out. So District 2 is very diverse. You go out in some areas, you're in the country. You go over here, you're in the urban. You go over here, you're over here. So you have to be multifaceted when you're dealing with people. So like the other day we was at Park Village, and so that area is traditionally a white area, and so they feel left out. These are older people who are retired school teachers, retired service people, veterans, and they want to make sure that things over there are taken care of, and that the council person is not just focusing on one area. I'm from the east side. I love the east side, and I'm gonna fight hard for the east side because that is a challenging area. However, Camelot 1 is challenging too.
That's right.
Sunrise, Gunrise, what is what they call it? Gunrise is a challenge. So that area on the northeast side is a real big challenge. The uptick of violent crime, murder, it has been running rampant, and it's not going to get any better if we don't have the type of leadership that can go and really face these type of issues, work with the law enforcement, go in and talk to the community. Now, people running around talking, saying, oh, well, you know, experience matters. Experience matters. Yes, experience does matter, but integrity matters more. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, as far as experience, I have community, people experience. And the type of experience I got is going into hostile areas and talking to gang members and going into hostile environments and talking to community people and getting people to, you know, collaborate and come up with initiatives. I've worked with T.C. Calvert and Commissioner Tommy Calvert to go clean up the trash out there in the Glen and Camelot. I've worked with former Mayor Ivy Taylor on commissions to better police relationships between the community and police. I've marched with people down to City Hall to advocate and protest against police shooting unarmed black people. I've been there. I've always been there. And I formed my own nonprofit. So when people talk about experience, they need to be careful, because I'm going to ask about your experience in the community. And then come to find out, you don't have any experience. And the experience that you do have, it's more about socializing and drinking and having a good time and not really doing the work. Yes. And so therefore, we are challenging people to start doing the work. Put the money where your mouth is. Stop talking about it, be about it. And that's why we run it. Y'all remember me? I was in the barbershop talking about it. And y'all was like, oh yeah, Walt, it's all good. Now I'm running and being about it. And I need the community to step up and start being about it.
That's right.
This is like chapter 3. Because you was on the cover telling us your life story. Yeah. You was on the podcast show, was it last year?
7 months ago.
And you was talking about all this great stuff that you want to see in the community. And now the third time, you're hitting a home run.
Look at God.
Because you're running.
Look at God.
And I want people listening to this podcast. I know this podcast episode was probably the loudest, most hypest, most energetic podcast show. But if you really focus on the words that are being said,
that's right.
It's all about passion. And you too, I'm calling it power couple again, the Perrys. You're passionate about your community. You're passionate about the little guy having a fighting chance.
Yes.
Because like you said earlier, we all want to eat. We all want to pay our bills.
That's right.
And we all want a fair shot having a decent income.
That's right.
We were those people. Yeah. Like, we were hungry. Like, even as a couple, like, we struggled. You know, we were paying $1,500 rent every month and still trying to live our dreams and still trying to be and raising 8 kids, going to school, trying to be in the community. You know, when I started with Sage, and a lot of people don't even know this, when I first started with Sage, I was only working 20 hours a week, getting $9 an hour, and no insurance at the time. And this is with a full family. Wow. I never complained. You understand what I'm saying? What I did was took that opportunity, and you know, I want to thank Sage for giving me that opportunity. I took that opportunity and ran with it. And then 3 months later, I got a bump in my raise. You know, I was a salary employee, and you know, but it wasn't the money. It was the opportunity to be able to go out, talk to people, get to know people, network, and be a positive part of my community. And then at the same time, coming from where I came from, going to nonprofit and, you know, dealing with city officials and, you know, people who were black, who didn't know how to talk to the black people, came to me, and I put them up on game in the hood, walked them through the hood, showed them around, vouched for them, gave them the hood card. Y'all know who y'all are. They forget that. But I never did. And what I did was I asked God before I started doing this. I said, God, just take away the things that I can personally do to sabotage this. Just take that away. He said, okay, well, I'm going to take away your ego. Oh, well, then I need my ego. I said, no, you don't. I'm going to take that from you, and I'm going to put you in a position where things are going to hurt, but you're going to learn. And when you learn, I'm gonna elevate you to a position to a power. And so, right before I end this, I have to say this real fast. This is full circle because 10 years ago, my homeboy Ken, my barber, can tell you, a few other people can tell you. I was homeless. I only had 3 pair of socks, 2 pair of shoes, 2 pair of pants, and a pack of t-shirts, and $25. We were sitting outside the barbershop. We were smoking weed. I was real high too that day. But all of a sudden it was like this. It was like a silence. And then I heard a voice say, I'm finna show you something. And then it showed me a lot of stuff. And then I looked at my homeboy. I said, hey man, you wanna hear something funny? He said, what? I said, man, I got this, and that. This is all I got. I said, I'm finna show you how somebody can come off the street, work hard, and become one of the most powerful people you ever seen in the city. I said, I'm finna swear off selling drugs. I ain't gonna do none of that. I ain't gonna steal. I ain't gonna do none. I'm gonna do it the right way. And I said, but I'm gonna work hard. And I said, man, one of these days, I'm finna come back and I'm gonna be councilman. I'm going to be one of the most powerful people this city ever seen. I said the only way this city's going to change is that my homeboys, everybody who had a hand in me growing up, they got to see somebody who went through what they went through. Make it. Because that's the whole thing. It was like, yeah, Walter, that's good, but I ain't going to let you make it. If I make it, do you know how many people from my hood, from my community, just period, who just came from that situation, homeless, whoever's on drugs, whatever situation you're in, they are living vicariously through me. And if I make it, we all make it. It's going to be a renaissance here. It's going to be so many people that's going to just explode with talent. I'm giving you the future. I'm giving you prophecy. What God showed me in a vision 10 years ago. I'm going to get this seat with the help of the people. After that, everybody who's looked over, messed over, felt like they didn't matter, God is going to bless you.
That's right.
He's going to put you in a position of higher power and higher value. That's right. You are going to have everything that you want. All you have to do is just do the right thing. Don't take from nobody. Don't hate on nobody. Somebody do you wrong, just pray for them, cry about it, but keep going, because I'm telling you, it took me 10 years to get here. And man, we not finna let it go. People that came to us and try to bribe us, try to get us to get out the race, and try to threaten us, threaten my family. But man, they just don't know when God bless your game, it ain't nothing you can do.
That's right.
It's nothing but game time. So anybody that's out there that's wondering, doubting themselves, and saying to themselves, man, they're not gonna let me in. You thinking about a position in life or anything. You matter.
That's right.
You have value. Right. I was homeless. I'm talking about, man, my homeboy was cutting my hair for free. And you know, he gave me clothes. Other people gave me clothes, fed me. I'll never forget that. I don't care how temperamental people say I am. I don't care how many people I done cussed out here. People that know my heart, they know I love them, and they know I'm gonna fight for them. They know that if it's $10,000 sitting on the table and Walter walk in the room, when as soon as Walter walk out, your $10,000 still gonna be sitting on that table.
That's right.
I go in there with your wife, even if I'm in there by myself, I'm not gonna mess with your wife. People know me like that.
That's right.
I got integrity, man. And I don't care if I don't, you know, I'm not the most polished. But man, when it comes to this hood, when it comes to these people, it ain't nobody out here that can say that I don't love these people.
That's right.
And so for people that's running around here talking about experience matters, it does. Experience with loving people matters. Experience with taking falls matters. But your integrity matters. When you don't have nothing else, when somebody felt like that they was going to lose a race, they was willing to take a bribe. When I was homeless, I wouldn't take a quarter from somebody who I knew wasn't good for me.
That's right.
And I'm running in this race now. They came at me with money. I told them no. You know why? Because I ain't no sellout. And if I lose the race and I keep my morals and keep my integrity, I'm good with that. because I'll be back in 21. I'll be back.
That's right.
But if I win the race, but then, you know, like do it like underhandedly, I'm not going to feel right.
That's right.
And then it's not going to be a blessed term. So we're going to do it right. And then we're going to win. And then when I win, we're going to shake it up. You know why? Because the people deserve to have that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, it's going to happen.
That's right.
That was a mic drop moment. Whatever happens, going to happen. But I like that because wrapping up the show, first, thank you both for being on the show, I Am Refocused Podcast. You clear your schedule out just to be here. So I feel
thank you for having us again.
Because
I'd be ignited all lecture. Feel like I was drinking a Super Mountain Dew.
I'm just glad you don't have the calmness like I do, because it'd be a whole different feel.
Which I have a good balance.
I was actually calm.
Oh man, that's dangerous.
When I started doing this right here, you know. But
on a serious note, man, thank you both for being on here, because the message is the same. Since the day I met you when we was at the Black Chamber.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? That's way.
Shouts out to the Black Chamber. In spite of
and you know, hardship. You know, everything.
Y'all didn't come hug me after I finished Epic. Y'all just kind of let me finish Epic, and then that was it. So shouts out to the Chamber.
Yeah, I'll put it this way: we all got wrinkles, and we bring the iron out sometimes.
Right.
I think adversity, though, that's the hot iron that gets the wrinkles out. Because if you don't face adversity, what do you have to offer?
That's right.
But you know what, too? I want to emphasize this one more time. I know people can look at me and go, Walter, temperamental. That's the word right here. Like we have to watch his temperament. Yeah, when you lie to the people, you damn sure better watch my temperament, or you try and play somebody. But when I was an activist, you know, that's what was needed. Yeah. But I'm running for office. This is what's needed now.
That's right.
And so for me is, you know, that was 2 years ago I did that at Ella Austin. When, you know, and come to find out, I was right. You know what I'm saying? But the things that I say, it may make you feel uncomfortable, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah.
It may seem like I'm stirring up trouble.
It's the truth.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
It may feel like I'm calling people out.
It's the truth.
But it's the truth.
That's right.
If I don't have anything else to stand on this platform, it's the truth. And the truth is, District 2 has had 5. And one of the 5, he's running again. 5 city councilmen in 5 or 6 years. That's just not going to do. We need continuity. We need somebody with a long-term plan, and that is what I have. I have an 8-year plan, and that 8-year plan encompasses the resources, the support of the people, and I guarantee you, when I get into that office, the people is going to see a champion. They're going to see an awakening in their community, and they're going to feel like they matter, because they do. And I just don't want anyone to feel like that they can't approach me, because you can. Now, if you come in with games, you're going to get checked. Hey, you know, it's just some things I'm never going to let go. And checking you on the spot when you come in with some nonsense, that is good for everybody's health. You know what I'm saying? It's like nipping it in the bud. But at the same time, there are different levels to this. And I know, as an activist, there's certain things I can get away with as an activist that I know I can't get away with running for council. So regardless of how somebody feels, I know what type of race I'm running. And, you know, we know that at the end of the day, we're going to run this race respectably.
That's right.
We're going to run it as a family. And I'm going to support my wife. I've had people tell me, let your wife run her own race. Her race is my race. What the hell are you talking about? Man, you don't want me by my wife, so you can be by. You know what I'm saying? No, it ain't gonna happen like that. I'm gonna be right there with my wife standing up. What y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Because people try to get between your family, and they try to infiltrate you. And so, you know, history shows that when you let outsiders into your family, they're gonna infiltrate it. So I'm gonna let my wife say something. I've been going too hard.
I think we said enough. Mr. Shabbat trying to wrap up the show.
Shouts out to Rockafellas, man.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's hey man, I got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. So y'all, hey, anyone wants to do a forum? We haven't been doing enough forums in the community. So You don't have to be a politician or somebody that's supposed to be big around here to do a forum. If you care about the community, call me, and I'll come in and speak to you. Arrange a forum in the community, so that way, you know, people can really know the issues. We like people need to know housing issues. We have a housing forum next week on March 21st at the Carver. We're going to be talking about housing, gentrification, and generational wealth. And one of the things we're going to be talking about are these $450,000 homes in poor neighborhoods and how that affects the community morale when you're a family that's been renting and then you don't have a way to acquire a home because, you know, things are just out of your cost. So we want to invite people out to the Carver next week. I'm going to be on there. Amy Corona, Alan Neff, and Jock Arch from Straight Line Management. I just recently spoke for Jock at the council chambers when they hosed Jock and didn't give him a contract, didn't put him in the pool. So we got to fight for a lot of these black contractors to get some of these city contracts because they're giving them out to outsiders and stuff like that. So come next week to the Carver, March 21st from 6 to 8. I said 7:30, but it's going to be to 8. Come there, mature audience only, and give your expert opinion about housing, how you feel about it, gentrification, how you feel about it, because I hate it. I'm the gentrification killer. And then generational wealth. We want to talk about how having a home is one of the first steps to starting generational wealth. You can do so much with your home, and we've been homeowners for the last 3 years, and it's been a liberating experience. And so we want to share that. We want to share that knowledge with the community, and also get feedback from the community about their experience about gentrification, housing, and generational wealth. So if you're a broker, homeowner, I don't care if you're a lender, if you care about housing, you care about community, come out to the Carver. It's gonna be dope. I promise you.
Man, on that note, I'm gonna talk to Walter after the show. I'm gonna give him his own podcast show. Yeah, because I feel like you're just warming up, and you're not even scratching the surface.
They haven't been talking to me. I've been getting blackballed. No, seriously, black media has been blackballing me. Like, look, I ain't gonna name no names. Y'all have always supported me, so I'm not even talking about y'all. We talked about this before I even started running. Well, black media, all the black media, newspaper, radio, podcast, they are not calling me on these shows. And these are people that I've helped. Somebody owes me $300 one of these radio shows. Man. I donated $300 to them, and then they're going to tell me that I need to come with at least $5,000 to get an interview. So black media, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? Like all y'all radio shows that be calling me, asking me to help y'all, what's up? I thought y'all had concerns. You know, like, the blackballing is not cool, because while you trying to stop me, God is going to keep pushing me forward. That's right. So all I'm saying is this is our campaign. This is the people's campaign. Let me come on your show and address issues that concern you. That's what I'm running for. What the hell are y'all doing? Tripping. So black media, all media in San Antonio, especially local media, holla at me, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk.
Your Facebook Live is lit right now. Oh, yeah, so I'm going to close this show, because if I have one more point, we're going to get Rico in trouble. Y'all need to get out of here, man. But on a serious note. On a serious note, though, what we talked about today was important. Number one, we got the story of Alicia, your wife, and we had the story of you, Walter Perry. And we have the game plan of what you want to do for the community. It's not just for certain people. It's for everybody. It's for the little guys. It's for the ones who've been ignored all these years, who've been just overlooked. Yes. Pretty much, they can do their own thing. Let's just give them limited resources. No, it's time to shake things up. And Refocused Magazine, making it publicly known. Walter can come on the show anytime he wants to. Door is wide open. Matter of fact, there's no door. You just walk in.
Thank you to my wife, my backbone, my soulmate, my best friend, my biggest critic. Sometimes I be wanting to cuss out all the damn time, but she pushes me to be better, and that is what we need, especially as men. especially as black men, we need our women to push us and to challenge us, not to humiliate us, but to push us to be greater. I'm Rocky and she's my Adrian. You know what I'm saying? And she's also I'm Ozzy and she's Ruby D. And so we have to have that dynamic with each other, and I have to allow her to correct me, and I have to seek counsel with her, because this is my queen, and I'm proud that she's running, and it wasn't something that I made her do. It was something that she decided to do, and I'm, as a husband, as a father, as someone who was not always friendly to females, who didn't always get it right. God has truly blessed me with my equal. I feel like we are equals. I'm just a little bit stronger than her physically, but we're equal. We have equal capability to do things, and I would be really remiss if I don't honor my queen, my backbone, because I wouldn't be standing as straight as I am now without her. And so I just want to challenge men out here to love your women. We admire Michelle Obama, we admire Maya Angelou, we admire Oprah Winfrey, but we may have I have an Oprah Winfrey in my house. I have a Maya Angelou in my house with my daughters and my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to see them like we see these celebrities. Yeah. And my wife is a celebrity, to me. When I see her, I'm like, damn, I'm with her. But we have to start seeing that value in people that are around us every day. And so I just wanted to say that. And, just thank you, San Antonio, and all couples, no matter if you're fighting or loving, just stick together, man, because it's hard finding somebody who can compliment you, and man, it's truly a blessing.
So everyone in San Antonio, man, make sure you support the power couple, the Perrys. That is Walter Perry and his wife Alicia Perry, because they are, no matter what happens, I'm going to leave it at that, no matter what happens, you will never forget their names. I promise you that. And there's going to be more to come with this podcast, I Am Refocused Podcast. We will definitely be keeping a close eye on what they're doing, their journey, because it's all about community and it's all about you, the individual. Thank you, everyone who's listening to this podcast. Over 13 countries, man.
Oh, 13 countries?
13 countries listening to your show.
Is it Africa?
Hey, everybody.
It's real talk. Everybody all around the world.
We're in Mozambique.
Man, we're going to be everywhere with this episode.
Yeah. This will go in some places.
But once again, like we say every single show, man, this show is all about getting people inspired, involved. Change your mindset. Change the way you look at life. Don't blame me. Don't blame nobody no more. You got to look in the mirror and say, it's time for me to step up. It's time for me to go harder than I ever did before. Because I'm not going to go crazy like Walter did. We're in overtime right now. We got to go catch the airplane right now, go back home. But real talk, like we say every single show, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.
Peace.
All right.
Thank y'all.